Hi all, good afternoon to all of you. Okay, today we are in week 8 already, so our topic for today is regional economic integration. So before we start, I would like to tell you the meanings of regional. Regional is actually an area, especially part of the country or the world having definable but not always fixed of the boundaries. Regional means a region. Economic integration means joint, united or unified. So the regional economic integration is the agreement between the countries in the geographic region to reduce and ultimately remove tariff and non-tariff barriers to the free flow of goods and services, and also factor of production between each other. So basically, this regional economic integration is actually the agreement between the group of the countries in the one geographical region. So this factor for production that I'm talking about is refer to the land, labor, capital, and also enterprise. Okay, this is the learning objective that we're going to learn today. First is we're going to describe the different level of regional economic integration. Okay, that we need to understand the economic and political argument for regional economic integration. You need to understand the economic and political argument against regional economic integration, explain the history, current scope, and the future prospect of the world's most important regional economic agreements, and also understand the implication for management practice that are inherent in the regional economic integration agreement. Okay. So this is the introduction of regional economic integration, and as I told you before, this international business we are more learning in the US. Okay, the US regional economic integration. So all the example is all in the US. Okay, so the introduction is this regional economic integration, the World Trade Organization must be notified. They must alert about this regional economic integration. So all the economists, they believe that free trade agreement produce the gains from trade for all the members country. So we're going to learn the European Union. So what kind of country that have inside that, and we have the general agreement. The example of regional economic integration is General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, GATT, and also WTO, World Trade Organization. They are seek to reduce trade barriers but have been less successful. And EU refer to European Union that has been most ambitious move toward regional economic integration. And we have NAFTA. NAFTA is referred to the North American Free Trade Agreement, and also Mercosur, means the South American Regional Economic Organization. So this is the example. Okay, all these are the example of regional economic integration. Okay, this importance of benefit of regional economic integration. First is they're able to have a better negotiate against the rich powerful countries. Second is to increase the cooperation among region. Third is reduction of the negative effect associated with globalization. Third is reduction of the negative effects associated with reduction of the negative effect associated with globalization. Number fourth, they are being able to compete internationally. Fifth, each region have more person to sell its goods to apart from those within their own borders. Number six, they're going to improve the improvement in the quality of life as a result of access to a variety of goods and services. Number seven, we have development of various organizations that respond to the need of each region. And lastly, we have freedom of the travel among region. So basically, there are several types or level of the economic integration. Okay, we have they have level of economic integration. Okay, we have level, so we have from the lower level, free trade. Okay, we have custom union, we have common market, economic union, and the highest we have political union. Okay, if you can see, is like this is from low to high, and this one they have a low complexity and high complexity. So political is the highest one and free trade is the low one. So we're going to learn one by one after this. Okay, this is the first level, free trade area. So this free trade area, normally we're going to eliminate all barriers to the trade of goods and services among the members of the country. So each country is allowed to determine their own trade policy with regards to the non-member. So example is like for example, European Free Trade Association, we call it EFTA. The countries such as Norway, their members is Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein, I don't know how to pronounce it, Liechtenstein, and also Switzerland. And North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, the country is US, Canada, and Mexico. So Malaysia also, we have 7 free trade area with the countries such as Australia, Chile, India, Japan, New Zealand, Pakistan, and also Turkey. So this associate of Southeast Asia nation, Asian members, they have established the Asian free trade. So not only Malaysia but all the Asian country. And normally this free trade area, there's no tariff between members. Okay, there's no tariff between members. There also no external tariff. They no external tariff, and they can negotiate own trade deals. They can negotiate their own trade deal. Okay, so they are like more freedom. They have more freedom. Okay, this free trade area. Next, we have the customs union. Okay, this custom union, they're going to eliminate trade barrier between the country, and adopts a common external trade policy. And the EU means European Union, as a custom union. They have the Andean community, that formerly the Andean Pact, countries such as Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, and so Peru. So this European Union custom union, they consist of all the members of the state of EU, Monaco, UK, United Kingdom, and some dependencies of the UK which not part of the European Union. So normally in this custom union, there's no tariff. Okay, no tariff, no border check, common external tariff, and the trade deal for whole custom union. So this is the characteristic. Okay, there's no tariff, no border check, common external tariff, and trade deals for whole custom union. Okay, next we move to the next level of economic integration, which is common market. So this common market, there's no restriction on immigration, emigration, or cross-border flows of the capital among member countries. So they requires harmony and cooperation on fiscal, monetary, and also employment policy. The Mercosur, the countries such as Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay, is hoping to establish the common market. So example is Venezuela accept for the membership but awaiting for ratification by Paraguay. So this common market, or we call it as a single market. Okay, single market. The members normally eliminates internal trade barrier, they adopt common external trade barrier, and they allow free movement of resources, like for example, labor among the countries. So this example, they include the country of Mercosur, the Southern East Africa Common Market, and also West Africa Common Market. So this is in Malaysia, this in Asian. One of the four pillars of the Asian Economic Community is single market and also production base. So we also have single market in Asian. Okay, type of trade bloc in which most trade barriers have been removed, with some common policies on product regulation and freedom of the movement of the factor of the production, and also the enterprise and services, then free movement of capital and service. So normally this single market, there's no tariff. Okay, no tariff. Common external tariff, they just give the common external tariff. Freedom of movement, goods and people. And common rules and regulation. Okay, they have this means people they know the situation of immigration, even though you're in different country, so you just can enter the country freely. Okay, next we have economic reunion. They require high degree of integration, coordinating bureaucracy, and the sacrifice of the national sovereignty to the bureaucracy. Example is European Union. So this is actually the economic union is an agreement between two or more nations. They allow goods and services, money and workers to move over borders freely. So the country may also coordinate social and financial policy to support this common market. So this is also type of a trade bloc, which is composed of a common market with the customs union. So the participant countries have both common policy on product regulation, freedom of movement of goods, services, and the factor of production that include capital and labor, common external trade policy. So this is the economic union. Then we have political union. The last one, the highest one, is European Union, headed toward the least partial political union, and the US is an even closer example of political union. So this political union normally involve complete political and economic integration, either voluntary or enforced. For example, USA, we have 13 colonies. Okay, this political union, when the member of trade bloc add the political dimension to their existing dimension. Okay, another example of a political union is the Commonwealth of the independent state, and also Europe Union. So this is an example of the political union. Okay, next we move to the case of the regional integration. To understand the economic and political argument for the regional economic integration. So they have the economic cases for integration and the political cases for integration. So economic integration, they can reduce the cost of trade, improve the availability of the goods and services. They're going to increase consumer purchasing power in members nations. So the employment opportunity, they tend to improve because the trade liberalization leads to the market expansion, technology sharing, and also cross-border invention. So in the economic case for integration. Okay, all the countries they gain from the free trade and investment, they assume an absence of barriers. They motivate by desire to exploit gain from the free trade and also investment. Okay, next we have the political case for integration. So the political argument, they are linking countries together, making them more dependent on each other, promotes political cooperation, reduce the likelihood of violent conflict, and also give countries greater political clout when dealing with other nation. Okay, next when we move to the impediments to integration. So what is actually impediments? And impediments is actually the barrier or the obstacle. Okay, what are the barrier and obstacle to integration? So while a nation as a whole may benefit from the regional trade agreement, the certain group may lose some, not profit lah, they not gain profit, they disadvantage. Okay, it implies a loss of national sovereignty. So what is actually national sovereignty? Is a national power or national authority. Okay, because the integration is not easy to achieve or to maintain. So there are two main impediments to integration. The first one is it can be costly. While a nation as a whole may benefit from the regional free trade agreement, certain group may lose a certain amount of money or economy. They're going to drop in their economy, and they also can result in the loss of national powerful. So they don't have power, and they don't have authority. Okay. Okay, then we go to learning objective number 3, understood the economic and political arguments against regional economic integration. So regional economic integration is the only beneficial if its amount of trade it creates exceed the amount of diverse. So they have two types of trade. We have a trade creation and also trade diversion. So WTO, World Trade Organization, the rules should ensure that the free trade agreement does not result in the trade diversion, but they do not cover some of the non-tariff barriers. So what is actually trade creation and trade diversion? So trade creation is actually the increase of trade that occurs between member countries of trading bloc following the formation or expansion of the trade bloc. Okay, while the trade diversion is in the other hand, they arise when import from the rest of the world are replaced by more expensive imports from the partner country. So they're better for you to have this trade creation but not trade diversions, because trade diversion they not cover some of the non-tariff barrier. It means actually you have the loss if you have this kind of trade diversion. Okay, now I want to share the code for this week quiz. Okay, the code is regional 08 IB, regional 08 IB, all capital letter, no space. Okay, next we move to the objective 4. Okay, explain the history, current scope and future prospect of the world's most important regional economic agreements. So in Europe they have two trade blocs. What is trade bloc? Trade bloc is actually the group of countries who form trade agreement between themselves, trading blocs. Okay, in Europe they have two trade blocs, which is EU, European Union, that consists of 28 members, and in 2019 Britain they might exit this EU. Okay, that we call it a Brexit. Okay, we will learn later. And we have the European Free Trade Area, EFTA, with the 4 country members. Okay, they have two types of trade blocs in Europe, European Union and also European Free Trade Area, EFTA, EU and EFTA. Okay, you can see this is the map of the member state of the European Union in 2007. Okay, this is Europe, so this is the member lah. Okay, you can see the member of European, non-member, and also the applicants of the European Union. Okay, now we move to the political structure of the European Union. So they have four political structure: European Commission, European Council, European Parliament, and also Court of Justice. Okay, we go one by one. European Commission. They run by the Commissioner appointed by the member countries and approved by the European Parliament. So European Commission, their function is the executive branch of the European Union. They're going to be responsible for proposing legislation, implementing decision, upholding the EU treaties, and managing the day-to-day of the EU. Okay, they're responsible for proposing legislation, implementing decision, upholding the EU treaties, and managing the day-to-day of EU. Okay, then we have the European Council, the ultimate controlling authority within the EU. So one representative from the government of each member state. So this European Council is formed by heads of the state or the government of the member state, provide the necessary motivate for the development of the EU, and set out the general political guidelines. The Commission President is also a non-voting members. I repeat. This European Council, formed by the heads of state or government of the member states, provides the necessary motivate for the development of the EU and sets out the general political guidelines. So the Commission President is also a non-voting members. Okay, next we go to the European Parliament. So 751 members, they are elected by the member state. They're going to debate legislation proposed by the Commission and also forwarded it to the Council. So in European Parliament, they normally have three roles. It debates the legislation, it can pass or reject the laws, and it also can make the amendments, but not in all the cases. So laws must also be passed by the Council of the EU in order to become a law. I repeat, okay, they have three roles of the European Parliament. It debates legislation, they can pass or reject the laws, and it can make the amendment of the laws, but not in all the cases. And the laws must also be passed by the Council of the EU in order to become law. Then we have the Court of Justice. Okay, the Court of Justice consists of two courts of law, a Court of Justice and also the General Court. So it is responsible for the jurisdiction of the EU. The court ensures the correct interpretation, also application of primary and secondary union law in the EU. Okay, this Court of Justice, they have two types. Okay, this Court of Law, they have the Court of Justice and also General Court. So they are responsible for the jurisdiction of the EU. The court will ensure the correct interpretation and application of primary and secondary union law in EU. Okay. Next, we move to the Single European Act 1987. So the objective of the Act, okay, this one is important to remember. Okay, remove all the frontier controls among EC countries, applies the principle of mutual recognition to product standard, institute open public procurement to non-national suppliers, lift barriers to competition in the retail, banking and insurance businesses, remove all restrictions on the foreign exchange transactions between members countries by the end of 1992, and abolish restriction on cabotage by the end of 1992. Then we have this Maastricht Treaty, or we call it as a Treaty of EU. It's actually the international agreement that responsible for creation of the EU, signed in 1991, which became effective in 1993. So the EU is a group of 28 countries that operates as a cohesive economic and political bloc. So this normally they are committed, the EU, to adopt into single currency. Okay, they committed the EU to adopt in single currency. So EU's currency we call as a euro. Okay, the use of 19 of 20, used by 19 of 28 member state. Okay, from the 28 member, 19 of the member they are using euro. Second most widely traded currency after dollar, and countries such as Great Britain, Denmark, Sweden, they not use euro. So if I want to give you the history of euro. Okay, euro started in 1st January 1999. So their coins and their bank notes were launched on 1st January 2002, and in 12 EU countries, the biggest cash changeover in the history took place. So now the currency of 1 euro, if you convert to ringgit Malaysia, is like 4 ringgit 87 cent. 4 ringgit 87 cent. So 1 USD is 4 ringgit 26 cent. So you can see that euro actually is not really like not really expensive lah. So if you refer to one Jordanian dinar is equal to 6 ringgit 1 cent Malaysia, and the highest is 1 Omani Rial 11 ringgit 7 cent Malaysia, equal to 1 Omani Rial equal to 2 ringgit 60 USD. Okay, so during this time, euro can be the most widely traded currency after dollar. Okay, what are benefits of the euro? Saving from having a handle one currency rather than many. They makes it easier to compare price across Europe. Producer forced to look for ways to reduce production costs, boost development of highly liquid pan-European capital market, and will open investment option. Another benefits of euro is there are more choice and stable price for consumers and citizens, greater security and more opportunities for businesses and markets, improve economic stability and growth, more integrated financial market, a tangible sign of the European identity. So cost of euro, loss of control over nation monetary policy, and EU is not the optimal currency area. Okay, now we move to this British exit from European Union. We call it as a Brexit. So Brexit means the withdrawal of the UK, United Kingdom, from Europe Union. So is British electorate vote to leave in 2016. So based on the loss of national sovereignty immigration issue. So Treaty of Lisbon, Britain have 2 years to negotiate terms of exit. Okay, the Britain exit is a concern. They are seen as a counterweight to economic and also power of Germany. So what are the advantage and disadvantage of Brexit for EU? We go one by one. Okay, we go one by one, the advantage and disadvantage of Brexit for EU. Okay, the advantage is there are more saving for British citizens. They have the higher trade and productivity, the skill-based immigration policy and less regulation. Okay, border control, less competition from immigrants. Okay, disadvantage of Brexit for EU: loss of single market, lack of investment, lack of job creation, possible tariff to export to EU, and also employee shortage. This is the advantage and disadvantage of Brexit for EU. Okay, next we have there is the move towards the greater regional economic integration in America. They have the biggest effort is the North American Free Trade Area, Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, and they have other effort that include the Andean Community and also Mercosur. Okay, Andean Community, we go. What is Andean Community? So Andean Community refer to the free trade area with the objective of creating free trade area with the objective of the creating customs union comprising the South American countries of Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador and Peru. Okay, what are the effect, objective and the function of NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement? First is abolish tariff on, okay, you just remember this one, 5. Okay, abolish tariff of 99% of the good traded between members, remove barriers of the cross-border flow of services, protects intellectual property rights, remove most restriction on FDI between members, allows each country to apply environmental standards, establish 2 commissions to impose fines and remove trade privilege when environmental standards or legislation involve health and safety, minimum wages or child labour are ignored. Okay, this is the Andean community just now. It's formed in 1969 using the EU model, had more or less failed by the mid-1980s, was relaunched in 1990s and now operates as a customs union. They renamed the Andean community in 1997, signed an agreement in 2003 with Mercosur to restart negotiation towards the creation of the free trade area. So what is actually Mercosur? It originated in 1988 as a free trade pact between Brazil and Argentina, expanded in 1990s to include Paraguay and Uruguay, and in 2005 with the addition of Venezuela. Okay, all the Latin country, okay, maybe diverting trade rather than creating trade, and local firms are investing in industries that are not competitive on the worldwide basis. Efforts tailed on the reducing trade barriers between member states. Okay, next we have the Central American Common Market that include the countries such as Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras and Nicaragua. They have a Central American Free Trade Agreement, CAFTA 2005. They have a Caribbean Community and Common Market, English-speaking Caribbean countries, and Caribbean Single Market and Economy, CSME 2006 models of on the EU Single Market. Okay, this is the example of regional economic integration. Okay, there are various efforts and integration that have been attempted in Asia, Africa and somewhere else. So they are associated with the Southeast Asian nation. Asian is the most significant. They have a TPP and also TTIP. So TTP refers to Trans-Pacific Partnership and TTIP Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership. So we have Asian. They are formed in 1967. So Southeast Asia, normally the countries such as Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, Myanmar, Laos and Cambodia. Okay, this is what we call as SCA, Southeast Asian. Foster freer trade between member countries to achieve cooperation in their industrial policies. And they have an Asian Free Trade Area, AFTA, between the 6 regional members of ASEAN, come into the effect in 2003, and they have an ASEAN and NAFTA moving towards establishing free trade zone. Okay, this one is the example of trade blocks in Africa. Okay, they have a East African Community, EAC. Okay, this is Doha. In Doha, we have a TPP and TTIP. Okay, so this is the learning objective number 5. Understand the implication for the management practice that are inherent in regional economic integration agreement. They have opportunity. The opportunity is they opens the market and they allows firms to realize cost economy by centralizing production in those locations where the mix of the factor cost and skill is optimal. Then they have threat. Business environment become competitive. there's a risk of being shut out of a single market by the creation of trade fortress and the growing opposition to free trade areas. Okay, this is the members of EU. It's include all this country. Okay, Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Crete, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and also United Kingdom. By United Kingdom, they want to withdraw from this EU. Okay, so that's all for this week class. Okay, thank you for listening. Have a good day. Bye bye.